Joining in 3rd grade, Bea was one of the few students that I didn't know when they started 4th grade. But what she doesn't remember probably is that I actually met her as a toddler. A friend and I took pictures of her entire family, like cousins, grandparents, everybody. So she probably doesn't remember that I actually did meet her. I obviously did not get to know you. I'm at one first meeting, but it did not take long in 4th grade for me to notice how curious you are. Whether it was a challenging math problem, or indulging in cheese after making solar ovens. You tackled everything I put in front of you with enthusiasm, and most importantly, with a positive attitude. I have been quietly watching all of you guys from my little corner of Sycamore. And Bea, the thing that stands out to me the most is how much you've matured. I have watched you blossom into this graceful, beautiful, empathetic young lady who stands by all of her friends. I obviously wish you success when you leave Sycamore, but I am most hopeful that you continue to embrace high school with the same gusto, kindness, and confidence you've demonstrated since 4th grade.
Where do I begin? For 3 years, I've had the privilege of watching you grow, not just in height, but in character and grit. You have brought me equal amounts of joy, pride, laughter, and challenge. Confidence exudes you from like rays of sunshine on a summer day, sometimes so bright it's blinding. While the overconfidence may have led you astray on occasion, it has also served as a testament to your unshakable self-belief and unwavering confidence in your abilities. It is this very trait that fuels your determination to overcome obstacles and emerge victorious time and time again. This kid got 100% on his algebra final exam. And amidst your charming bravado lies a heart of gold, one that cares fiercely for your people. Your loyalty to friends, family, and even to Kai hasn't gone unnoticed. You've shown that beneath that confident exterior beats the heart of a true friend and protector. There's no question that you would go to great lengths to ensure the well-being and happiness of those around you. You've had the privilege of witnessing a transformation. I've had the privilege of witnessing a transformation within you. A sensitivity and thoughtfulness that has enriched your character and developed you into someone I hope to know as you become an adult. Henry, the world is vast and full of opportunities waiting to be seized by someone as dynamic and likable as you. Carry with you the lessons of perseverance, loyalty, and yes, even a touch of humility. I'm going to miss you.
Mrs. Miltenberger always makes me cry. She's ignoring my look right now. I love math. The vocabulary, isosceles really is a great word. The algorithms, the problem solving, etc. But my favorite part is understanding the why behind the concept. Few students have joined me in that love more than Justin Warren. Students, you may not realize this, but we need you. We need those students who laugh at our jokes, those who remind Mrs. Simpson and I to return papers, and we need those students who get us. Justin, I appreciate how much you get me in my love for math. Experiencing your curiosity about everything is truly life-giving to a teacher. I've enjoyed watching you step out of your comfort zone this year. Justin accomplished a rare achievement, finishing in the top 10 at state math counts while only participating during his 8th grade year. I know at times you're cautious to jump into things, but when you do jump in, I love how you give it your all. Finally, I must talk about Justin's kindness. Though his willingness to throw shade at Shay and the 7th graders in Algebra 2 has increased this year, Justin has always stood out as one of the kindest students in our school. Justin, if you continue to live your life full of curiosity and kindness, I know great things lie in your future.
Dedicate this final cup of yerba mate to the first student who ever brought yerba mate to one of my classes, Alex Bramhill. I haven't drunk from it, so yours to enjoy. So it's yours to enjoy. As a born and raised native of the great state of Michigan, I consider few external proclivities to be more revealing of one's character as her or his appreciation for the cold. Among its myriad symbolic expressions, the cold inhabits that very exhilarating frontier that awaits those willing to forsake the warmth of their herd heading cozily off the cliffs of conformity, deny the glowing yet illusory courtyard fires that invite the betrayal of one's most formative covenants, and forego the clammy lukewarm waters of the collaborative and consensual self-deception that so often dilute the restorative, intellectual, moral, even spiritual possibilities of genuine human interaction for the inebriating odor of the decent, safe, and nice. She might be the only student here that can track with that long paragraph, but what can I say? Over the past 2 years, I have both witnessed and admired the deep wellspring of joy that sustains and defines your embrace of every inconvenient, unpopular, and uncomfortable environment you encounter. Whether the sudden, unrelenting deluge of an Amazonian rainfall, the austere chill of the Andean highlands, and the withering cacophony of a book club full of dudes pontificating on the existential implications and consequences of stodgy beekeeping entrepreneurs, defiantly arboreal Ligurian noblemen, and quixotic time-traveling wanderers. I've also witnessed that very same exuberant and willful embrace of the cold in its endless literal and figurative permutations. Beget the warmth of loyal friendship for a few in a world bitter and frigid from the withering winds of popularity, of unapologetic excellence in the less glamorous human pursuits of academia, and of firm and articulate resolve for convictions all too hastily discarded as outmoded and unfashionable. Perhaps it's this very celebration of the cold that conditions us best to carry the truest fires of our shared humanity.
So you joined us last year in 7th grade. As I was thinking about some things to write for today, I realized we had some similarities. We both have certain proclivity for mathematics. We even appreciated the DMRs, unlike many others out there today. We both have annoying sisters. You will learn to appreciate later in life. Though I will say mine never wore a shirt to school that outwardly mocked me. We both regularly shake our heads daily at some of the things that Batia does and says. However, there are certain things that we don't have in common. While I always try to get to places a bit early, you have the ability to get to your first period class with Mr. Young barely on time, most of the time, unlike yesterday. Unlike many of your classmates out there. You always seem to be in a good mood, radiating positivity, With your smile, your good mood is infectious, and your lighthearted spirit brings warmth and laughter to every interaction. Finally, your unwavering determination is truly inspiring. Once you set your mind to it, there's no stopping you. While my resolve typically evaporates early every day, when Miss Mim gives me her look of disappointment, that happens a lot. Rohan, may you always find humor in the equations of life, confidence in your stride, and success in every endeavor. Good luck at Carmel.
Mr. Guffin wanted to participate but unable to be here today, so I'd like to call Hugh up. He has created a video for you, Hugh.
Hugh, I really enjoyed getting to know you over the last 2 years. From coaching you in basketball to teaching you in class, it's been a lot of fun. You know, I always knew you were motivated by food because you're a grown teenage boy, but I didn't know until this past basketball season that you were obsessed with muffins. Not just any muffin, but a muffin from one of his best friends, Henry. As I'm writing this speech, a light bulb just went off in my head. If you're constantly eating these muffins, then that explains why I had to fill your water bottle up in the middle of basketball games. You know I'm kidding you. And hydration is very important. I wouldn't change anything from these last 2 years. I wish you all the best at the Buff and beyond. Don't be a stranger, come back to visit. Thanks, Hugh.
Science poetry. Picket line. Love must be an outward force, because it's drawing me towards you. To lose a friend is like to lose a part of you. One may compare it to alpha decay, losing the helium. It's number 2. Or the decay of beta, the positive charge that will eventually become neutral. Are you European? Because I love EU. You. Written adulation. On my academic journey here at Sycamore School, Mr. Schuth, my advisor, an extremely magnanimous science teacher, has helped me pave and prepare a path for my new high school journey. In 7th grade, learning about the anatomy and physiology of the human body, each unit held new information to be learned. The intensity of the pressure to do good on these tests led me to be able to study and work harder. The lectures in 8th grade taught me to take detailed notes and inspired me to be more passionate about my learning. Mr. Schuth has taught me great and useful skills to use later in life. Inspirational scientist quote. Shall I refuse my dinner because I do not fully understand the process of digestion? Oliver Heddyside. Haiku. Math and science joys. Tennis courts and debates won. Sycamore's heart missed.
Right. Those were extra credit assignments, the adulation in the poems. Just wondering how you pulled off getting them to write those things. The most important quality of a successful learner is truly thinking about what you are learning. Few students have epitomized this more than Grant Porter. Every time I asked a hard question, Grant was a student I knew was trying to figure out the answer. Though you may not love school, or more specifically homework, Grant, you can't hide from me how much you love to think. You were also a wonderful problem solver. I remember elective last year with multiple students passionate about competing in math competitions. And though you were not a member of a math team, your ability to solve problems and creatively apply what you knew stood out. As you move on to high school, though, I do hope you turn in more of your assignments on time, but my real hope is that you never lose your love of thinking and that you find opportunities to solve problems. I don't pretend to know what our world needs, but I do know that it will always need thinkers and it will always need problem solvers. And if you focus on those two things, great things are in store for you. Good luck, guys.
According to Greek legend, wrens became kings of birds by hiding on the ostentatious and unsuspecting backs of eagles, thereby ingeniously becoming the highest bird in the sky. This reminds me of Parker, who can easily identify hundreds of birds and is also an encyclopedia of minute mythological detail. His memory, I'm going to metaphor here, is actually akin to hummingbirds, who remember every flower and feeder they've ever visited, both at home and along their 500-mile migration path. Studies show crows are comparably intelligent, even having sense of humor, amusing themselves by playing practical jokes on unsuspecting humans. Similarly, Parker's hysterical. However, it's completely on us to listen. Audience participation is not really required. Parker's superpower lies in his creative thinking. It's both somehow stealthy and straightforward, similar to the yellow warbler, who, unlike their peers, can outsmart brood parasites, or birds that hijack nests and replace host eggs with their own. Upon returning to this invasion, a warbler, after presumably an eye roll and a bird shrug, simply builds a new nest atop the old. Fresh start, sans invaders. This problem solving is all Parker, straightforward yet stealthy, irrespective of an audience. Because while everyone else is watching the eagles, Parker and the wrens are sliding into that throne. The university is lucky to have you, whether you know it yet or not.
Cole, welcome. Today I'm going to speak about Cole from a basketball perspective because I know basketball is the game that he loves so much and how we connected the last few years. I got to know Cole for the first time 3 years ago when I took the basketball coaching job prior to teaching at Sycamore. Cole was very much full of life then, like he is now, but he has done a lot of maturing since our first meeting. In the beginning, he demanded a lot from his teammates, and he had a difficult time trusting teammates and would prefer to play 1-on-5, which doesn't always work out. However, I began to notice changes in Cole during his 7th grade year. Cole began showing how much he wanted to grow and progress through his daily work. He would come in most mornings to work on a shot, both in season and out of season. He would often come in at lunch and then again after school.
His work ethic and transformation as a person and as a player helped his ability to think strategically about what our team needed to succeed. Cole began to show leadership by, page 2, working with some of our 5-6 players during practice and would help less experienced players on the 7-8 team. He volunteered to come in during some of our Saturdays with our 1st through 4th graders to help, showing great leadership in process as well. I would put Cole's work ethic up against anyone in terms of wanting to improve and get better. The drive is within. Just a second. Cole, you continue to work hard and keep evolving your game. Yours will be big shoes to fill. In the meantime, you can start by filling my shoes when you forget to bring your own. Which, quite frankly, has happened more than once this year, as you borrowed my shoes on more than one occasion. Gratitude and wish you all the best.
Lila Epstein. Lila, for 3 years I've had the privilege of witnessing your journey firsthand, and what a journey it's been. Your love for sports, and Caitlin Clark, is as evident as your competitive spirit, whether you're throwing a jack cross, playing softball, or solving math problems. You're a competitor through and through. If there were Olympic medals for passion and dedication, Lila, you would have a whole trophy room full by now. Your unwavering sense of self sets you apart in a world that often tries to mold us into something we're not, forging your own path with unyielding determination. And beneath that tough exterior lies a heart of gold. Your ability to speak your mind is matched only by your capacity of understanding and empathy. You're often the first to offer a helping hand or a word of encouragement to a friend in need. I guess it shouldn't surprise me that you signed up to be Mrs. Persh's classroom helper and worked with EC students as your elective for the past 2 years. Is that why you know how much little kids love shovels and digging? As you venture forth into the great unknown, remember to harness that competitive spirit, but never lose sight of the things that truly matter. Kindness, compassion, and staying true to yourself, Lila. I'm really going to miss you next year.
It is my pleasure to be able to kind of try to thread together a cohesive message to the 3 that I'm going to get to speak about. So you're going to get to hear this in 3 parts. The 3 that I'm going to speak about, I would say they entered my classroom very much as boys, and they're leaving as men. And with that theme, I'm going to give a song that I think that is representative not only of the class, but of this. It goes, how do I say goodbye to what we've had? The good times that made us laugh outweigh the bad. I thought that we'd get to see forever, but forever has gone away. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. That's just part 1. To our esteemed holder of the snub, Jeffrey Curtin. In the realm of knowledge, you stand as a beacon, a noted knower of things, whose brilliance outshines the rest. With each answer, you unveil the depths of your understanding of pop culture, leaving spectators in awe of your intellectual prowess. Yet, It is not merely your skills that set you apart, but your gracious demeanor, a true testament to your character. Amidst your competitive fervor, you remain steadfastly proud. Yet, you embody the spirit of sportsmanship, Jeffrey. You are indeed the least likely to neg. By the way, that word in Quiz Bowl lingo means neg 5. If you're not sure, you can ask me later. Choosing instead to outbuzz and inspire your teammates to do better. And then, I would be remiss if I didn't mention a more recent role that was bestowed upon Jeffrey on our recent Washington, D.C. trip of our FLOTUS docent. This is a position of unparalleled honor. Your knowledge surpasses all, guiding others with the wisdom that transcends boundaries. I will miss giving you a hard time in class and seeing you rally your teammates. As you continue to grace us with your presence, may you always remember the profound impact you've had on our community. You're not just a student, but a shining example of excellence and grace.
And now for our first student speaker today, Aria Desai.
Good morning, fellow graduates and distinguished guests. I want to start off by thanking all of the teachers, peers, parents, relatives, friends, administrators, and other staff for bringing us to this point. Your unwavering support has been the cornerstone of our journey through Sycamore School. Together, you've guided us through challenges and celebrated our triumphs. We are truly grateful for the encouragement and belief you've shown us in every step of the way. When I started to think about how best to convey our years of experiences together, I realized that it was just too much to fit into a single speech. So, then I took another approach and thought about what makes our class unique, and I realized that the answer was our diversity. But, despite our differences, I also realized that we have a great deal in common, including cherished memories, banter exchanged in the Sycamore halls, academic and extracurricular accomplishments, and last but not least, what we ate for lunch every day. Wait, is she really going to talk about lunch, you might be asking? Well, in the utter chaos that is our lunchroom, which of course includes the food fights earlier this year that resulted in some serious punity from our teachers, our class had one item that nearly all of us ate most often at lunch: a sandwich. Sure, there are many types of sandwiches eaten over the years. Each had varying layers depending on who was eating them, but I am confident that our class must have devoured a mathematically large number of sandwiches at our time at Sycamore. And so, class of 2024, I say, what better way to convey our shared time together than through a simple comparison to our shared culinary experience with the sandwich. First, sandwiches are an endless permutation of many ingredients, from wheat to white to sourdough bread, which can then be mixed with 20 types of cheeses and 15 types of sandwiches, along with a wide variety of vegetables. We had them all at lunch. And who can forget Justin's lunch, which deserves its own category with his daily intake of peanut butter spread on bagels. In so many ways, these endless combinations reflect our class and their diversity in backgrounds and the attributes that make them successful at Sycamore. We have such a great student body. People have come from different cultural backgrounds, speaking multiple languages, exhibiting varying academic talents, and driven by diverse passions. While the world around us grapples with how to face and respond to this diversity, I can confidently say that our class embraced and enjoyed it. A stunning example of this enthusiasm was just a few weeks ago during the International Festival, when almost all of our class volunteered and participated in the cross-cultural experience. Participating in dance forms like tap, ballet, flamenco, Irish step, and Bollywood, along with fencing and karate, were all on display. And of course, leave it to our 8th grade class to turn this lovely night focused on diversity into a mini Bollywood dance competition between the boys and girls. And since I have the podium, I can tell you that the girls definitely won. Beyond the mixed varieties, sandwiches also have layers. Even in the simplest sandwich layer represents our Sycamore environment, guarding and holding safely together the internal contents. In this case, us, the students. The multi-layered sandwich gets really interesting. Each layer represents a unique facet of the 2024 graduates. The first layer inside of the sandwich, typically an innocuous spread of some sort like ketchup, represents our innocent lower school experiences. I especially remember when we were all diligently preparing for the much anticipated BizTown field trip in the 4th grade. The preparation was very time consuming. We all had to learn how to do our taxes and manage our imaginary bank accounts. Unfortunately, the COVID virus hit and our field trip was canceled, along with our hopes and dreams for formally learning about finance. In retrospect, a mystery was also explained. So, Mr. Keith, now you know why our class always struggled with those DMR quizzes. We never quite learned the total combinations of dimes and nickels that Bob could use to buy those buildings of his. The cancellation also marked the beginning of the pandemic, a new and very foreign chapter in our lives, marked by isolation and remote learning. So, let's call this part of our lives the worst part of the sandwich, the mustard. We did everything we could to avoid it at all costs. Our courageous teachers and administrators helped us navigate around the sauce. Early on, we were required to isolate ourselves at home. While this time was challenging, we connected and learned to bond virtually. Now, while many of those Zoom class memories are fading, we vividly remember those not-so-rare moments that can only be captured online. You know, when a student would forget to mute their device while fighting with a sibling, or going to the bathroom. But, in all seriousness, in the process of adapting to virtual learning, we managed to cultivate relationships outside of the school, which, to this day, remain special for our class. As we move up the layers of the sandwich, we must eat the dreaded green vegetables, which of course represents our transition to middle school and facing the onslaught of rigorous academics and unending homework. Along with the responsibilities of getting older, middle school also brought new opportunities and privileges. In other words, after finishing the green vegetables, we finally got to the tasty cheese layer of the sandwich, which of course represents our middle school field trips. And let's be clear, Marine Lab was by far our favorite. While the excitement to go to Florida was palpable, a lot of us were also anxious about spending a week without parents. Of course, all of those nerves were immediately relieved once we set foot inside of the candy shop at the airport and realized that our parental restrictions were also absent. That sweetness lasted the whole trip, and Marine Lab brought us all much closer. Few others have experienced adventures such as snorkeling in the ocean and swimming next to jellyfish and manatees with their best friends. This time inspired many inside jokes and memories. I especially remember our boat's small group and the original rap song sung by Pari, Rhea, and myself. The one where Chloe and Rachel kept begging for us to stop. Sorry. I also remember when everyone was racing to the shower so they wouldn't have to wait in line after a full day of snorkeling. Interestingly, this was in direct contrast to our amazing trip to Culver Military Academy, where many skipped showers altogether because nobody wanted to walk around with wet hair when it was sub-0 degrees Celsius outside. As you can imagine, the ride back on the bus was unforgettable. We enjoyed our growing bonds, learning independence through these trips. Did I mention the exponential growth in our maturity? Back in school, we came to appreciate how much our teachers, the Sycamore staff, and our families have done for us to get to this point. We counted the number of times Dr. Wendell blew our minds with his experiments, or the innumerable hours Mr. T must have spent between morning math and preparing students for math counts and various other competitions. We appreciated Mrs. Simpson and Mrs. Berger's managing the record-breaking attendance at the debate tournaments, and Coach Govman for bringing my advisor the best candy in the world, watermelon Sour Patch. We cherished the opportunity that Mrs. Moulter gave us to see our fellow classmates as giant bugs while reading Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. We will always remember how Mr. Young maintained his patience with us and only sent a few poor souls to the gulag. We thank Mr. Shute for throwing us into the deep end of biology, chemistry, and physics, and helping us navigate our way back to the surface. We'll be grateful to Prophet for never giving us mulas, and for Mr. Buckles and Dr. Murdoch for inspiring our musical talents. And we are grateful for the time and consideration Mr. Huber has given us and our suggestions on how to improve the school during the lunches he had with each of us. There are so many other teachers and staff to mention and how they contributed to our growth. That then represents the final layer of our sandwich, the one that impacts us first and is everlasting, the Sycamore secret sauce. So today, I say thank you to all of you in the audience for being a key ingredient in the sandwich that represents our experience as Sycamore students. On behalf of my class, I can confidently say that each ingredient came together to create a rich and unforgettable experience. Together, these ingredients have undeniably nourished our young lives. I'll end by quoting our former head of school, Mrs. Borgman. We move upwards and onwards to try out new experiences and eat more sandwiches, but we'll always remember the comfort and care from the halls of Sycamore.
Gila. Okay. Near a year ago, I was standing on this very stage extolling the delightful unforgettability of one of the most titanic personalities in the history of Sycamore. One whose shadow you may feel has eclipsed your sun since year zero of your wondrous young life. But if I rewind back to the hyper-neurotic fever dream that was the 2020-2021 academic year, when as a starry-eyed new fifth grader, you were subjected to the torture of recording verbal extempore tests through a muzzle, or mask no less, on a bi-monthly basis, remember these words every time. Hola, soy Len, y hoy quiero hablar de... Your meticulous attention to detail, diction, and design set you apart from the very first day. While wading through waves of 10-second, one-sentence, sometimes one-word responses from your peers, I always knew I could count on you to wax poetic for a record-breaking 2 whole minutes on your favorite color and fractured yet wholly intelligible basic Spanish. Another of my favorite memories of you was the first day of classes in Ecuador last summer, and we all had boarded the bus to visit the neighborhood market. You were the only student missing during the head count, and I found you several minutes later completely adrift in amazement, floating mesmerized through rows upon rows of fresh food, cheap knockoff designer clothing, gutted swine, and skewered guinea pigs. Your ease and comfort with getting swept away in the vibrant wonder of the present reminded me of the most sublime moments of my own sojourns, both internal and external, domestic and abroad. All frustration was lost on me as I followed your lead in cherishing the fleeting details of the now, forging one of my own fondest memories as a teacher. Yours is a life replete and overflowing with the joy of creativity and imagination. In your own singular, clever, and unassuming way, you have been every bit as delightfully unforgettable.
All right, barrage. Mirage, it seems just like yesterday. You were in 5th grade, sitting over on the side of my classroom, room 65, every day, all day, due to COVID restrictions. My classroom from that school year still hasn't fully recovered from the habit. I've had the pleasure of having you in class twice, first in Course 2 Math in 5th grade and 7th grade Algebra 1. I learned that your mind operates on a bit of a different wavelength. While your forgetfulness may have caused a few hiccups along the way, your ability to think outside the box and tackle challenges never failed to impress me. Whereas you have proven yourself to be more than just a student, a great thinker, a tennis enthusiast, and a friend whose presence lights up any room. But let's be honest, your knack for troubleshooting and goofiness sometimes drove your teachers a little crazy. For example, When Mrs. Corcoran and I chatted this past week, she said that she would have a lot to say about you and would need 15 to 20 minutes. I told her I only had 2. Let's also remember it only took you 18 months to repay your debt and heard from saying sorry to me so many times. Caramel apple pops, by the way. And yes, I did bait you into a few to get the numbers up. Raj, as you step through the doors at Carmel High School, remember that the journey ahead may be filled with challenges and triumphs, and aces and long rallies, but with your determination and your unwavering spirit, there is no doubt that you will succeed. Good luck.
My first memories of Abby are from carpool during the first weeks of 5th grade. There were masks, there was no hanging out in the commons before school, so everyone entered at the same time. I enjoyed greeting each of you, but something about Abby stood out. I could tell there was so much kindness and thoughtfulness behind her eyes. During 6th and 7th grade, I watched you in the hallway and in the commons. Abby spends a lot of time in the commons. You would diligently complete your work amidst the chaos. You always had a smile for your classmates and teachers, and were one of the constant positive forces in our school. In particular, I watched you be a great friend. One of my favorite moments from this year was a recent quick nod of understanding we shared when we assured Aria that the 2 of us at least would laugh at her jokes. This year, I've had the pleasure of having you in class. Unsurprisingly to me, you have continued to impress me with your work ethic and engagement. You are a great thinker and a problem solver, and I am confident you will excel in your future classes. Most importantly, I am certain you will succeed in life. Kind, thoughtful, intelligent, humble, rock stars like you always do.
Allow me to call up an athlete, indeed maybe the quintessential Sycamore athlete, Alex Cunningham. So I thought about making the jump. Over the last 4 years, Alex has participated in 8 Sycamore sports, selected by his coaches for 3 awards in the process. If we had an NBA-style Sycamore Athletics logo, Alex would probably be our Jerry West. This spring, Alex invited Coach Guffin and me to a baseball game. So we watched from afar, but things didn't seem quite right. The player we saw was a bit too quiet and just not quite Alex, right? So of course on Monday we find out that we watched the wrong game. When we made it to the right game, there was no question. The real Alex was intensely competitive, but also just looked like he was having a blast. As I thought about what to say today, the Alex I pictured had a hair fountain, or maybe 2, coming out of the top of his head and was wearing neon orange shorts and a highlighter yellow tank top. Close-ish. Well, he's ditched the hair fountain for now. He still has in abundance what it represents. Unabashed authenticity and a jovial spirit. Alex, in high school and whatever comes next, maintain that Alex authenticity, keep making every room that little bit brighter, and make sure to let Coach Guffin and me know exactly which field your game is on.
You're sharing the honor. There certainly
some obvious things we can say about Sadie. She's immeasurably strong and has faced challenges that would have tested the resolve of anyone in this room.
She's genuinely positive. Who else can say that neat weekly grammar
And math.
lessons on Zoom with enthusiasm and an honest smile?
Sadie is fiercely loyal and deeply loving.
Her amazing family makes us better simply by knowing them.
But beyond these indisputable virtues, the first thing that comes to mind when we think about Sadie is the compassionate authenticity she brings to her close friendships.
Who else is capable of inspiring their entire 8th grade class to serenade them with what's essentially a love song?
Not to mention how awesome it was to receive a shout out from Steven Sanchez during his concert and be serenaded by him at her house.
However, over-the-top displays of Sadie's coolness aren't necessary to show how loved and loving she is.
It's sharing the time with her friends, the day-to-day experiences,
Going to the mall just to go to the mall.
and sharing tofu afterwards.
It's afternoons walking to CVS to get the expensive snacks.
Nerd clusters and chocolate pretzels, in case you're wondering.
It's binge watching Dance Moms and Two Broke Girls.
It's the many meals cooked and eaten together.
Although, oy vey, the jury's out on how good of a cook Sadie is. And let's not mention the time she and Via almost broke up while kayaking.
Apparently, they couldn't figure out which way the paddle should go, and they just kept turning in circles.
When Mrs. Baker told the 8th graders that Sadie was returning, they erupted into spontaneous cheers. And there's a reason for that.
Or rather, many reasons.
It's the millions of memories throughout the years that combine to create Sadie and the love we all feel for her.
We'll miss you, sweet Sadie.
Your strength,
Your compassion,
your joy,
your loyalty.
Friends, I'm proud to celebrate Sawyer Jackson. Okay, Sawyer, you might find him not just on the stage, but writing code in the Commons, drawing portraits in art, conversing about history in the corridor, or playing the baritone sax in band. You might have seen Sawyer's gullible art project, but Sawyer is anything but gullible. Excelling in multiple areas, Sawyer is a modern-day Renaissance man. Sawyer arrived at Sycamore in 4th grade, making the commute from Danville, quite a long commute, but he fit right in, and that year he became the elementary regional science league champion. Science competitions continue to be a favorite activity for him in middle school. He also experienced the joy of snorkeling at Marine Lab. And during 7th grade, I chaperoned the Culver trip, and Sawyer and Parker had a blast on the ropes course. Even when Sawyer is absorbed in his various interests, he takes time to acknowledge others with a positive greeting. Sawyer is kind and humorous. Like Leonardo da Vinci, I hope you, Sawyer, continue to live a creative life. May you draw upon your intellect to observe and to inquire, tap into your soul to connect to others empathetically, and take actions that bring you growth, fulfillment, and uphold truth and goodness in the universe. Best of luck at University High School.
I have been very blessed in my teaching career to witness students' passion for music as they realize the value of their voice and how it is a part of a much bigger whole. I watched students discover self-confidence through the music performance. When I started my job last year with a group of students who had missed most of their middle school band experience, this person helped me make my first real connection with our band. October, when our band was performing Blue Ridge Impressions. Our journey was not just about hitting the right notes, but evoking emotions from the written page. As Victor Hugo once said, music expresses that which cannot be said, and on which it is impossible to be silent. Our grand ending called for the fortissimo of fortissimos, with the bass drum leading the charge. And yet, it was 7th grade Raza at the helm. Was he up for the task? Short answer, he was. Raza's determination, passion, and relentless hard work over the past 2 years have transformed him into one of our band's leaders. Hard work pays off, and one's abilities can profoundly impact those around them. Raza, I wish you the best in your future endeavors.
Nora. Come on over here. Okay. Although you started at Sycamore a little later than some of your classmates, your finish was fabulous. A few weeks ago, you walked into a courtroom, dressed in a suit, tasked with the job of arguing a lengthy and complicated case, and you radiated confidence. Your arguments were clear, they were powerful, and I was in awe. And then the repeated interruptions started. But you didn't miss a beat. You answered each question with composure and poise far beyond your years. You had clearly put in the work. Nora, you were fearless and you nailed it. However, you are much more than a talented student, Nora. You are so fun to be around. You're sweet and adventurous and often the life of the party at the locker gatherings before and after school. You enthusiastically embrace every moment with your friends, and your genuine affection has touched many. You do all of this while showing your teachers and your family great respect, always striving to meet expectations and please others. It's been an honor to watch you blossom since your very first day at school, back in the dreaded COVID cohorts. Keep putting in the work while bringing joy to others. I'm so proud of you, Nora.
Anaya is a student who makes life look easy. She rolls into first period, Starbucks drink in hand, and gets to work banging out essay after essay, contributing to class discussion, and keeping her peers in check. Here's the thing about Anaya, though. It only looks easy because she works so hard. In her sample high school essay, Anaya described her commitment to getting up early to work on her soccer skills, writing, "There have been days when the warmth of the bed seemed too inviting to leave behind, when fatigue begged me to hit the snooze and catch a few more precious minutes of sleep. Yet every time I overcame that temptation and stepped into the cold morning, I knew I was making a choice to sacrifice comfort for my dreams." I have seen this drive to do her best in my class as well. Whenever she's assigned an essay, Anaya does not waste a minute, unless she's pausing to get garage back on track. She not only carefully considers every word she writes, but she seeks out additional feedback.
With her work ethic, I have no doubt that Anaya can do anything she wants in life. Congratulations, Anaya.
Back to the song. And I don't know where this road will lead. I don't know where this road is going to lead. All I know is where we've been and what we've been through. And if we get to see tomorrow, I hope it's worth all the wait. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Evan King. Now, I'm going to need everyone to imagine with me. Imagine a person wearing a blue suit draped with an Indiana flag. So Evan has been described as ostentatious or sartorial in his dress. And he stands out not just for his fashion, but his exceptional quizzical skills. He responds to the name Indiana Man 13 and has been also seen signing autograph for his adoring fans at MSNCT. If you didn't know that we have quite the Quiz Bowl groupies. He is revered as quite possibly the best Quiz Bowl player in middle school. His dedication and passion for the game are evident. He constantly encourages his peers to play more and improve, fostering a culture of both excellence and enthusiasm within our team. His influence extends beyond his impressive personal achievements, inspiring others to strive for greater knowledge and skill in the competitive world of Quiz Bowl. Under his leadership, the Quiz Bowl elected greatly expanded, and I have a lot of rising 7th and 8th graders that are more enthused about our sport. His leadership and commitment have made him a key figure in our community, driving everyone to elevate their game. And Evan, that's the thing that sets you apart. You drive others to elevate their game. I appreciate how you've taken our strong tradition and continue to elevate the excellence of Sycamore. Congratulations.
Ria Chandra. Oh, step into the light, my dear. Science poetry. Pick up a line. Are you made of copper and beryllium? Because you are CUTE. Permit me to restructure the periodic table of elements, and I would place you and I together. To me, you're just like hydrogen, because you're number 1. To conclude, you must be made of oxygen and neon because you are the ONE. It's come together now, right? Written adulation. I will miss Mr. Shute, because he's a really good advisor. Curves the test so generously. Gives us caramel apple pops, gives great lectures, plays board games with us, and is very funny. Inspirational scientist quote, "Life need not be easy, provided only that it is not empty." Eliza Michael. And haiku. Ria on the ice. Language arts in her heart blooms. Friends and teachers there.
Avery. Today is momentous indeed as I keep. Today is momentous indeed as I keep both my Glushek and New Meister honors convocation streaks alive. Next year will surely be a harsh come down in the absence of what have arguably been two of the most influential family dynasties in my despotic half-decade of multilingual power at Sycamore. In the aforementioned mayhem of the 2020-2021 academic year, I first met you as a humble, reserved, seemingly dispassionate fifth grader. I'd only begun to know the impeccable band of sisters, friends, parents, and mentors that were helping channel the fires of life's trials, which had risen fast and fierce for you into a crucible of solid gold character, integrity, personality, and fearless resolve. As both your teacher and advisor for 3 of the past 4 years, I guess advisor for 2, but teacher for 3, I have been privileged with a front row seat to the chicken shrines of your zany, understated sense of humor, the Epicurean nature of your gastronomical penchant for the finer, simpler grains of our postmodern era, Becky Arroz, and the quiet, humble strength you've exuded every single day I've known you. Witnessing you thrive and come alive in Ecuador last summer, when some who only knew of you as an assortment of facts, data, and diagnoses on paper were quick to dismiss you under the cloying and mostly performative guise of concern for all things decent, safe, and nice, will forever remain one of the most defining joys of my life as a teacher. You have brought great honor to the conclusion of the noble Sycamore dynasty, and your departure will linger most resoundingly in Route 57 for years to come.
Take Walter, Mr. Guffin has a video for you.
Hey Nick, I never had the honor of coaching you in anything, but it sure feels like I have. Conversations with you were always fun because you too are as obsessed with sports as much as I am. College football is usually our topic of conversation, but it always ended up with you talking about that team up north. Now, I'm not a diehard Ohio State fan, but I am an IU alum and a huge Hoosier fan, so you will not be hearing me say that school's name in my speech. When you left for Spain, really brought to my attention how much I missed you at advisory. I also discovered how much quieter it was when I didn't have to hear about why that school up north is so much better than everybody else. You know I'm joking. I truly hope you have an amazing time at Fishers High School and beyond. Please come back and visit. Last thing I wanted to say, and I kind of feel like I'm suddenly breaking out into hives thinking about it, but this is for you, Nick. Go Blue? Yeah.
Greer. Okay, I'm gonna take a risk here and do a couple poems to be gentle. Greer, how will I miss thee? Oh, let me count the ways. I will miss our post-game volleyball breakdowns, replaying each hit and every pass. I will miss your deep love of orange lifesavers and requests for them before Spanish class. I'll miss analyzing various texts and discussions to confirm our many hunches. I will miss hearing about your packed weekends and, accurately, predicting others' crushes. I'll miss your nostalgic daily countdown for all of your 8th grade lasts and your hard-fought win for advisory tenure, finally without having to ask. I'll miss the many times you inquired, but wait, Ms. Simpson, who's giving my speech? Wide-eyed and determined I slid, giving you the answer you so beseeched. I'll miss the singular angles you discover to support your fierce debating, and I'll miss talking about the many books of which you're currently fixating. I'll miss you stopping by for a hug, a pep talk as you tackle your goals, and I hope you know the deep down truth you always have under control. You're the best kind of old soul, Greer, sagacious, caring, and profound. I'll miss you like crazy next year, so you better still come around.
There is loving Sycamore, and there is loving Sycamore so much that you wear a Sycamore shirt for almost 2 straight years. Of course, 8th graders, I'm talking about Shay and Mom. In honor of Cheyenne, I have started my own streak. This is day 1. I could say much about Cheyenne's shirts, but for me, they represent love. Not as obvious love of Sycamore, but the way Cheyenne loves life. It's how he approaches each day and each activity. His zeal for learning and for life is infectious, and all of us have been lucky to experience. Cheyenne, I could talk about your academic prowess. You truly are a great math student and problem solver, or about how much I've loved solving problems with you, or watching you and Justin argue after school, or the exasperated looks Aria and I have shared after your latest off-the-wall comment. Really? BK Whoppers are the best? But I want to end by thanking you. Thank you for loving math and for loving my room. Thank you for loving Sycamore and your friends and family. But most importantly, thank you for loving life. You're a shining example to us about how to live a life together.
Our next student speaker.
Hello everybody, and thank you for coming today. I'm Nick Moulton, and before I started the 3rd grade, I have been in 2 different schools already. I first went to a public school. As much as the teachers tried, I just wasn't challenged. At one point, it got so bad that I said, and I quote, "I feel like a lamb going to the slaughter." Although I was not challenged, I did make some friends. And because of that, I was heartbroken when I switched schools. I didn't know anybody at the school where I was going, and I was scared to go into the unknown. I was worried that I would be left alone at lunch, that the other kids would make fun of me, that my teacher would be really mean. My fears did not stop me from having to go to school, though believe me, I tried. This school was even worse in terms of being challenged. The teachers did not have the same passion for math that I did, and I had to ask repeatedly to learn new things. After 1 semester there, my parents were still looking for the right school for me. They asked me to spend a day at a novel, somewhat new school called Sycamore. I imagined that would be the same as the other ones, that I wouldn't have very many friends, I'd be really bored, and that I'd just flat out not be happy. As soon as I walked through the doors, I knew that it was different. Sycamore welcomed me and made me feel as though I had been here all my life. Mrs. Swigart made me the star in art class, and Mrs. Fullwider loved math just as much as I did. The kids were also amazing. Everybody was smart and had so many of the same interests. Shane was my buddy for the shadow day, and he helped me know what was going on. Henry and I immediately bonded over our love of Michigan. Go Blue! Don't you dare do, Jeffrey. Anyway, all the other kids wanted to sit by me, the new kid, instead of just leaving me alone. I felt much happier than I ever had at school before. A few days after I joined the school, Sycamore no longer was the unknown, because the unknown is what you fear, what you aren't comfortable with. Sycamore was home. Going into 3rd grade, I finally felt known and loved. And that year had some fun moments, like the poetry team, when we all ate way too much candy, and the trip to the Benjamin Harrison house. I started to feel like part of a family, not like the new kid in class. I got used to what had been the unknown. Then came 4th grade. That year brought 2 of the most memorable songs of all time. The periodic table song in Mrs. Wright's class, and the state song in Mrs. Fawson's class. Maybe later today we can have a group sing-along. Now we come to our grade's first really big unknown. And this one came without warning and without preparation. COVID. Our entire world shut down on March 13th, 2020, and we had to resort to virtual learning. Luckily for the class of 2024, our amazing 4th grade teachers helped us through. They helped us still have fun and chat with some of our friends during the pandemic. The unknown came before we were ready, but we were able to have a great time together. Very soon after, we were faced with yet another unknown, the infamous middle school. We had heard stories of hours of homework, impossible tests, and, oh the horror, only one recess. 5th grade, in fact, did have only one recess, but we were all able to survive the rest. Despite being separated from half of our classmates, we all managed to enjoy the cohort rooms. We had table football tournaments, great games of Lol Jeopardy, and we were the sneakiest pranksters ever when we logged on to the other cohort's Kahoot with names like 5R Stinks. Our was in fact impeccable. Yet again, we had faced the unknown, and we had yet again come through with flying colors. Despite all the difficulties of that year, we tightened our bond with each other and grew as a group. Luckily, all of our hardships in 5th grade paid off big in our next unknown. It was our first time being away from home for more than a night, and we were out of state. We went to Marine Lab, and it's still my favorite field trip. The temperature was fantastic. The food was delicious, and we even got to snorkel in a coral reef. In our free time, we played blackjack, and I know that there are many occurrences of cheating. I'm looking at you, Cheyenne, Alex, Abby, and Aria. Despite the cheating, it was amazing. I know you had an ace in your sleeve the whole time. Finally, we got to our last big unknown as equals, 7th grade. 7th grade is known as one of the hardest years at Sycamore, with tons of homework, difficult tests, and many new teachers. But for this unknown, we were prepared. We used all the study and time management skills that we had learned throughout our middle school careers and attacked it head on. I heard people complain about homework all the time, but what I didn't hear were phrases like, I can't do this. I heard phrases like, I'm going to study until 1 a.m., which may not be the best choice for your sleep schedule, but it still shows what this grade is all about, hard work and determination. This year also brought the Culver trip, where it felt like a vacation to San Diego. For those of you who have never gone, that is sarcasm. I distinctly remember wearing 3 layers on my bottom half, 4 on the top, and still being frozen solid while I tried to sleep. Keyword, tried. But I think that the suffering we all went through as a group really brought us together more than any trip had before. There was a great sense of unity, and everybody was looking out for one another. And that is very important as we go to high school, because it's a lot easier to face the unknown with people on your side. Finally, we made it to our 8th grade year, where we went to DC, and we learned that all of our favorite books are Far in the Sun. We also had the infamous Bollywood dance competition, which was started by the girls, I must say. And also, as I now have the podium, the boys distinctly won. I don't know if you could even call it a competition. But, as Mr. Weaver said, it was the shortest year yet. I still can't believe it's already over. Now we are faced with the next big unknown in our lives, high school. And I believe, more than anything, that we are all as prepared as possible thanks to the amazing education we received here at Sycamore. Now I'd like to thank everybody in our middle school journey for all of your help and goodwill. Mrs. Simpson, thank you for all your help on my writing, and thank you for enlightening me on the greatness of Atticus Finch. Mrs. Moulter, it's my mother. Thank you for helping me with my scholastic piece, and also for being a really great mom. Ms. Perkins, thank you for printing out our millions of resources in our argument essays. Mr. Shute, thank you for teaching us that there is no suck in physics. Dr. Wendell, thank you for your awesome experiments. Mrs. Miltenberger, thank you for always being kind and understanding when a student didn't get something. Mr. Keith, thank you for teaching us that cats are people too. Mr. T, thank you for always explaining the why and how in math, something not many teachers can do. Mrs. Cummins, thank you for always being an amazing sub when any math teacher was out. Mrs. Hayden, thank you for teaching us about many different cultures. Mr. Young, thank you for teaching us case law and not sending the crane of death for me. Mrs. Berger, thank you for putting up with our 5th grade cohort and even making it fun. Dr. Murdoch, thank you for teaching us to prioritize the group. Mr. Buckles, thank you for setting me down the dark, cold path that is being a Nationals fan. Thank you, Coach Brannigan, for your love of the sports you teach. Thank you, Coach Guffin, for being a great advisor and listening to my endless football rants. Thank you, Mrs. Grade and Mrs. Obst, for letting all of us do our silly mystery movie in art class. Profe, remember the day Brandon Fitzsimmons called you out for your great teaching in his honors outgoing speech. Gracias a señora Claudia por ayudarme en español en el quinto grado. Thank you to the tech team for always being happy to help when we forgot our Chromebooks. Thank you, Mrs. Baker, for running our middle school kindly. Thank you, Miss Mim, for giving me lunch all of the many times I forgot it. Thank you, Mr. Huber, for being amazingly unselfish and always looking out for everybody in this building. Thank you to the amazing staff and teachers who made us all better people. Finally, thank you to my classmates, because without you, all these great years wouldn't be quite the same. Class of 2024, we face all the unknowns for us at Sycamore. Now let's go out there and face the next one like we always do. Head on.
So as a non-classroom teacher, being invited to do this is a little bit intimidating, quite frankly, because I get to listen to Schuth and Cornell and all the others. And then I get to come up here as a non-classroom teacher who doesn't get to interact with you each and every day like the teachers do. I'm going to do my best, but I'm going to start with a couple of things other than that first. First of all, Nick, where are you, Nick? What did you say? I'm going to need a copy of the first part of that speech as the enrollment management director, because no one can say that more clearly than you did about being a new student here. That's fabulous. Also, Nick, Shay, and Henry, I'm going to need the $20 you promised me to be the last person at the podium to talk about the Bollywood competition. The boys did win, apparently. All right, Tess. People overuse the term rock star. It was even used earlier by Mr. T, in fact. Didn't know that. A TV commercial featuring rock icon Billy Idol even mocks such overuse. But sometimes one actually is a rock star. My first year at Sycamore, 5th grade for you, remember those fun days? I volunteered to help a carpool just to get to know some students and parents. Each day, out would come smiling, happy, positive little Tess Edison. I didn't know her like her teachers and friends, But each interaction with her made me like her even more. I thought to myself, that is a cool girl, and I don't know her very well, but I want to know her more. Last summer, Mrs. Simpson and I prepped her for her Caroline D. Bradley interview. Wow, I had no clue. Tess is literally and figuratively a rock star. She's creative, artistic, mature, confident, and determined. Although small in physical stature, Tess has a powerful voice and shreds on the guitar. She's an actress, an 80s hair metal aficionado, and someone who grew up in the 80s, I love it. And a lover of horror movies, which I don't love. Mrs. Miltonberger still can't recall what or even if she taught the day that Tess stood in the corner, dressed like the girl from The Ring, for much of class. Tess also has a podcast, ironically titled Little T's Big Interviews. Once you know Tess, you regret not knowing her sooner. That makes me think of a lot of people I knew as a youngster. Imagine the horror film of Sycamore being robbed of having Tess as a student. She has made Sycamore and her peers better. I can't wait to watch you rock out at University High School, Tess.
Nervous about this poem for the reason she and once Annie comes up here. Okay. Hello Kitty coordination highlights all funky pink. Dracula Laura would be green with envy. She wouldn't even know what to think. A visionary wordsmith, your rhymes paint exactly what you like. Showing others your real truth right before you drop that mic. Your words connect the dots the rest of us otherwise miss, allowing us to see for ourselves the parts we often dismiss. Situations may be different, but your words still strike the chord. The same feeling, a similar fear, that dream we're walking toward. As an activist, you're fearless, spotlighting what needs to change. Quiet women rarely make history or shovel paradigms into their cage. Ani, sometimes I wonder, are you secretly older than your age? How in the world did you become such an empathetic and eloquent sage? But Ani, you've been doing it, so why is it just 14? I can't wait to see your next stage, where undoubtedly you'll reign as queen. Your namesake, and this is no more poetry now, your namesake, the great Ani Nin once said, and the day came when the risk to remain tight in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. Perfection is static, and I am full progress. So Ani's risk and blossom and progress.
Party. I'd like to begin with a quote from the opening paragraph, one of Kurt Vonnegut's earliest, and I dare say finest, short stories. What's it called? Book club? I forgot. The Drum King. Wherever my work takes me, prosperity has beaten me there. A little known fact about me as a teacher is that no student gins up more performance anxiety in me than a brand new student. One that comes to Sycamore with nada in the way of prior exposure to the Spanish language. To be clear, the anxiety is more a byproduct of the overwhelming potential for greatness seesawing over the precipices of potential disappointment on the students and not mine. In this regard, your class has been exceptionally gracious to me. Rasa, Huey, Krishna, and Jojo Tang, to name but a few, have been astoundingly quick learners who have all but convinced me that there is no yawning abyss of despair to counterbalance the infinite waves of Elysian bliss that loom before every doe-eyed initiate to the zero-sum gambit that is foreign English learning. Yet, has there ever been a newcomer so effortlessly fluid, so coolly dexterous, so manifestly urbane in her approach to said gambit as you, dearest party? Methinks not. The fact you have excelled the highest levels of foreign language learning with such an unassuming confidence, grace, humility, poise, and character. Even in the face of such garish offenses as my recent oversight regarding your non-parallel performance on the 2024 National Spanish Exam has led me to reconsider revising the opening lines to my much-awaited memoir of dubious verity, The Tone King, to the following. Wherever my work takes me, Hari has beat me there.
Aria. All right. You are a superstar. You are a whirlwind of energy, passion, and determination. Your bubbly personality lights up every classroom and hallway you enter. Your enthusiasm is infectious, and you never lose sight of the importance of empathy and kindness. Yet, behind all of that heart and warmth lies a wicked sharp mind and a brilliant wit. This brings me to a lyric I bet you know. We should all respect any advice given to us by our grandmothers. But the advice Marjorie gave her daughter, Taylor, could easily be the Aria rule. She said, never be so polite you forget your power. Never wield such power you forget to be polite. Aria, this is you. You have incredible power within you, but it never overshadows your kindness. Whether you're debating, arguing a Supreme Court case, or bantering with your friends, you do it with respect and empathy. I've seen you advocate fiercely, but always with grace and understanding. You show us that being powerful doesn't mean being rude, and being polite doesn't mean being weak. You're strong and kind at the same time. Congratulations on graduating, Aria. We're so proud of you. Keep shining bright and show the world what it means to be a powerhouse with a heart of gold.
All right, third installment. Got here for this one. Let's see if I can do it. And I'll take with me the memories to be my sunshine after the rain. Yeah, it's so hard to Gavin, it has been a pleasure to not only be your teacher, but coaching you for the past few years, and I can attest that Gavin is known for some sick, big, scrappy buzzes. I've seen him take out an entire team with his vast array of knowledge. Gavin has always impressed me with his depth of knowledge, but also with the spirit behind his quest to become more learned. Those of us who know Gavin well have seen him break out some dance moves from time to time. Give us a little. Gavin is probably the most well-rounded, well-versed student I've taught in music, the arts, the classics, and history combined. Gavin, maintain your consistency for excellence, and I fully expect that he will be a powerhouse at Part Tutor even as a freshman. I hope you will join me in wishing Gavin, Sycamore's graduating a man for all seasons, all the best in his future endeavors.
Science poetry. Pick up line. You're my other half. Maybe you could beryllium mine. Let's be beryllium mine. Are you magnesium? Because I'm blinded by you. Are you oxygen? Because I can't breathe without you. Written adulation. I will miss Mr. Shute because of his science class that he teaches both anatomy, chemistry, and physics. His study hall, because he lets us do whatever, and we can talk and sit to whoever we want. I will also miss Mr. Shute because he sometimes, before break, we would just play board games. I will also miss his advisor because on Fridays we get caramel apple pops and play board games. In general, I think I will miss Mr. Shute because of the stress-free and joyful learning environment he creates for all his students and his advisors. Thank you, Mr. Shute. Inspirational scientist quote. An admission of ignorance may well be a step to a new discovery. Cecilia Payne Kapushkin. Your haiku. Soccer fields and friends, science sparks in Sycamore, memories remain.
Layla is a student who carries herself with the wisdom and grace of a woman well beyond her age. Deep, thoughtful, and hardworking are just a few of the words I would use to describe Layla. She has a quiet power that I truly appreciate. This year, Layla decided to write a critical essay for the Scholastic Writing Competition. Now, not many students choose to write critical essays, but Layla was driven by her passion to make this world a better place. You see, the essay that Layla wrote, titled The Word Choice of Hatred, was, in her words, my attempt to change the world, starting with a transformation in the dictionary. In her powerful essay, she examines the word Islamophobia and the treatment of Muslims in this country. Layla, who always tries to do her best work and who goes the extra mile, isn't just concerned with her own success. No. Instead, Layla is seeking to change society by changing the language around which we talk about hatred and prejudice. I don't know about you all, but I want to live in a world where Layla is in charge. Congratulations, Layla.
This has been a collaborative work and poem. In the world of Sycamore, where students convene, preschool to 8, you've been part of this scene. Amidst February's frost, your birthday glows.
Warmth and grace blossom as you grow. Your friends reminisce of laughter, of parties, and of joy. In Ecuador's embrace, friendships bloom. Amongst the cavern's gloom, gems shone bright, revealed by gentle light. A feathered friend at home alights upon your shoulder. Her melody, a symphony, a song of love and hope. With mimicry, she sings her tune, a colorful display. A friend in every shade of joy, in every hue of day. The Jones Room, awash with colors bright, yarns entwined, a wondrous sight. Hands ablaze, creative, fun you have in crochet electric. You've cycled through memories, moments to share, you and your trusty bike, a duo beyond compare. Camping and fishing, spinning and winning, you're speeding to the next season. You share thoughtful gestures in every exchange, kindness to souls, you help arrange. Conscientious steps on this path you tread, leaving footprints of care wherever you play. Missed you'll be, but well wishes we send, as oft designed for, around your next bend. Ella Pryor, may you fly ever higher.
Chloe, say glad Mr. Guthrie. We'll have a video for you.
Hey Chloe, I genuinely enjoyed getting to know you over the last 2 years. You're quick-witted, strong-willed, and from what I've gathered, if you don't talk a whole lot about it, you're a force in Taekwondo. I really wish you all the best at Park Tutor and beyond. Just don't stay up too late watching your anime shows. We'll always be here for you as a resource if you ever need anything. Don't be a stranger. Come back and visit us here at Sycamore. The one thing that I will remember you by is how you always greet me. I've been called Coach Duff and Coach G, and a lot of variations of my name due to it being such a rhymable thing. But anytime I see you in passing or advisory or in PE class, it's always, hey Duffin. So Chloe, I will miss you, and I wish you all the best.
I have the pleasure of speaking about an Athletic Star Award winner, an ISMA state-level soloist, and an all-around good human, Joyce May. In Joyce's Star Award-winning track and field season this spring, she excelled especially in hurdles and high jump, taking a first-place ribbon in each event and placing high in our conference meet. But you wouldn't necessarily guess at the level of her achievement just by seeing her demeanor at meets. Joyce is the type of competitor whom you may not even realize she's there until she's 15 meters ahead of you, bounding over hurdles like a gazelle. On to music, Joyce made state with her violin solo, but I most enjoyed her vocal solo, in which she blew me away with her musicianship and her voice. It was this solo that prompted me to play this piece of music for you. Entitled With Quiet Courage, it's a piece that Joyce embodies. After her solo, Joyce let me know that she had been nervous moving into it, but you would never have known if she didn't tell you. Courage isn't lacking fear and anxiety, but persevering through it. On the outside, Joyce was the picture of quiet courage. Joyce, as you move into high school and beyond, maintain your quiet courage, but also choose your moments to speak up. Your voice is one we need.
Rachel Cudler. Chose Rachel to go last because she's been here the longest of all my invitees. Science poetry. You're sweet. You gotta listen to this one. You're sweet, just like C12, H22, O11. You're the missing piece in my lithium and iron. That's LIFE for those of you. You're the dihydrogen to my oxygen. Are you copper? Because I need to see you in my life. Mr. Schuth is an amazing teacher. He somehow manages to tolerate our absolute chaos. Stay yourself, Mr. Schuth, and continue to ruin students' grades because they didn't study. I hope you have an amazing summer. I will never have a science teacher as graceful and as wise as you. Due to your incredible, extraordinary teaching, I still remember all the 5 layers of the epidermis. Continue your legacy here, as you shall never be forgotten by the students here, due to your quite amazing teaching. Adios, Senior Shu. I will miss you very, very, very much. My advice. Thank you. John Archibald Wheeler said, "There is no law except the law that there is no law." Haiku. 9 years at Sycamore. History and games she loves. Teacher's wisdom missed.
Eighth grade, would you stand up and face the audience, and let's give them a huge round of applause. You guys can have a seat for just a second. Thank you so much for everyone, all of your family and parents that came today to celebrate the 8th graders. It's a lot of hard work put into being able to graduate tomorrow, so we can't wait to see you up on the graduation stage to wish you one final farewell before you're off. I have a few quick announcements to make, and then we will dismiss. So today, we're rolling right into 3rd period when we're done from here. And then this afternoon, we 5th and 6th graders, during 6th period, I need you all to meet in the gym. We're going to finish with set up for graduation and then roll into graduation rehearsal this afternoon. Tomorrow, I would love to see you all here between 11:15 and 11:45 tomorrow morning. If you need to be dropped off earlier than that, Quest is available. Graduates, see you tomorrow at noon, dressed in your graduation attire. And families, we look forward to seeing you for graduation tomorrow at 1:30. And anyways, this is such a wonderful day to show how much we love you all and we'll miss you all. So thank you. 8th grade, if you want to go dismiss with your families first, and then I'll meet you all in the commons for our movie watching and